Hello sports fans, it is Friday, March the 29th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Before we get to our baseball preview, let's start with the Sweet 16 last night. Let's start with the Syracuse-Indiana game. I said yesterday I thought Indiana was vulnerable. They haven't been firing on all cylinders. I thought some missing ingredient was missing from Indiana. I just couldn't put my finger on it. They weren't playing well. I saw them lose a bunch of games. I was not pressed with Indiana, and sure enough, they got caught last night. Syracuse beat them. Syracuse controlled this game pretty much from start to finish. Their 2-3 zone was unbelievable last night. Indiana looked lost. They looked bewildered. They looked betwixt and betwackled trying to get a bucket. They couldn't score. They couldn't solve the zone. And Syracuse basically wire to wire handles Indiana with pretty much ease last night. Syracuse playing a lot better. Remember, not too long ago, Syracuse was playing bad ball. They got their mojo in the Big East tournament. They knocked off Georgetown there. They had Louisville on the ropes in the first half until Louisville just, bombed them in the second half. But Syracuse was starting to play better in the Big East tournament. And Indiana, something was missing. I can't put my finger on it. They lost one of their guys in the beginning of the year to an injury. Maybe that was it. Maybe the pressure. Everyone thought they were a lock to get to the Final Four. I don't know what it is. Something was missing from Indiana. I saw it for a while now. I said they were in trouble in this tournament. I thought they were going to get knocked off before the Final Four, and they do get knocked off yesterday by a very good Syracuse team. We know they're well coached. We know they have size. They have talent. That 2-3 zone is very tough to go against. Syracuse playing well at the right time. They knock off Indiana. That's got to be a bitter pill for Indiana to swallow. They thought for sure this year they were going to the Final Four. Tremendous win by Syracuse last night. Also last night, Marquette stunned Miami. How about Marquette? Marquette in the first round of this tournament against Davidson was dead. Dead and buried, done, finished, goodbye. They somehow pull a miraculous win out of the hat against Davidson. They steal that game at the end. Then they hold on in the second round against Butler. And last night, they controlled the game from start to finish against Miami. Marquette dominated this game. Marquette actually shot the ball well. You know they're going to give you a great effort. No one plays harder than Marquette. Not the most talented team. Give you 100% effort every time they're on the floor. Coach does a tremendous job. Miami played a very bad game last night. I was worried about Miami. They lost their big man for these, for the Sweet 16. I thought that was going to be a loss. I thought they would have enough to get through Marquette. I thought they'd go out in the next round. Miami looked atrocious last night. Couldn't make a basket. I mean, would they have 16 points at the half? Played one of their worst games of the year at the worst possible time. Now, overall, Miami had a great season. Larranaga did a tremendous job getting Miami basketball on the map. But this is about Marquette last night. Who has Marquette in their Final 8? Marquette, one win away from the Final Four, and that sets up a Marquette-Syracuse matchup. One last go-around for the old Big East. Syracuse against Marquette. Who would have ever thought Marquette was going to get this far? They were done in round 1 against Davidson. Davidson had them beat. The game was over. Marquette stole that game, and here they are. This tournament, survive and advance. No one epitomizes that more than Marquette. Also last night, Ohio State beat Arizona. This was probably the most entertaining game of the night as far as competitiveness. The Marquette game was kind of one-sided. The Syracuse game kind of one-sided, and the Wichita State game, which we'll get to next, kind of one-sided. Ohio State, Arizona. Arizona had a tremendous first half, was shooting the three, had things going their way. Ohio State rallies in the second half. Looks like they have the game in the bag. Arizona, a furious comeback at the end. They actually get a three-point play to tie the game, but Ohio State, just like they did last weekend, hits a big three with basically no time left. They get a steal at the end to steal it, and Ohio State wins the game, and Ohio State's playing really nice ball. They are on a nice little streak here. Arizona was very competitive last night. Ohio State wins the game last night. That was probably the only competitive game of the night last night. The other three were kind of one-sided from start to finish, so Ohio State moves on, and they will play Wichita State. Wichita State knocks off LaSalle. How good is Wichita State playing? they look like a legitimate team. I mean, they look really, really good. I mean, I saw Wichita State a couple times this year. I thought they were a decent team. They are really, really good. I mean, they handled LaSalle with ease last night. LaSalle was coming in hot. Wichita State, very impressive game. So that sets up an Ohio State Wichita State game. Very interesting matchup. You got to favor Ohio State, though. But once these teams get on these rolls, you can never count them out. We've seen it before. George Mason got to a Final Four. Butler got to a Final Four. Virginia Commonwealth. Don't underestimate Wichita State. Overall, last night, not great basketball. 3 of the games from wire to wire were kind of one-sided. Syracuse handled Indiana. Wichita State wire to wire. Marquette wire to wire. Those 3 games, not a lot of drama. Ohio State, Arizona, decent game, very competitive, but overall not a great night. Let's see if we get a better night tonight in the NCAA. All right, over to your NBA last night. Who wants the 8th seed in the West? Milwaukee trounces the Lakers. The Lakers can't get out of their own way. I mean, they can't win a road game. I mean, guys hurt left and right. Kobe's hurt again. Nash hurt again. Artesta's going to miss 6 weeks. I mean, the Laker drama never ends. Milwaukee polishes them off. So Dallas has a chance to tie the Lakers last night. Dallas is at home last night against Indiana. Indiana's coming off a back-to-back. Granger is out for the year now. Granger basically missed the whole season. You figure Dallas is going to have a big win here, right, and tie the Lakers for the 8th spot. No, not so fast. Indiana just bombs them in the second half, and Indiana wins. So the Lakers are still a game up on Dallas, but they're only a half a game up on Utah. Utah, has the tiebreaker. So if they finish in a tie, Lakers and Utah would get it. I still have no faith in Utah. I mean, I think they're a very soft team. Forget Portland. They're done. I have no faith in Portland. I don't even have faith in Utah. I thought Dallas may have an outside shot. But last night shows you they're not good either. I mean, who wants this last spot in the West? I mean, just ridiculous. So that was kind of some of your stuff in the NBA last night. Also over to your NHL last night, some scores of note. Toronto beat Carolina. What's going on with Carolina? Carolina's lost 7 in a row. How many injuries do they have? I liked Carolina at the beginning of the year. I liked that they added Stahl. I thought they were going to be a surprise team. Too many injuries. They've lost about 7 in a row. Also last night, how about the Islanders? They go into Philly and beat the Flyers. The Islanders playing really nice hockey. Tied for the 8th spot right now. Islanders are right there. Tavares playing tremendous hockey. Nice win by the Islanders. 2-0 on this tough road trip so far. Penguins do it again. Their winning streak just rolls on. They shut out Winnipeg last night. Penguins on an absolute roll. They get Malkin back last night. Penguins playing tremendous hockey. Also last night, Ottawa shuts out the Rangers. I am running out of superlatives to describe the Ottawa coach. Most of their top guys are out of the lineup, yet they keep winning. They keep shutting out teams, getting great goaltending no matter who they put in goal. Great defense. What an effort by Ottawa. They shut out the Rangers. Rangers back to not scoring last night. Ottawa really showing me a lot of guts this year. Tremendous win by them last night. LA beat St. Louis. I told you LA is starting to come on. And San Jose shut out Detroit. San Jose is battling for that 8th seed in the West. So that was kind of some of your news and notes and scores from last night. I'm going to give you a little baseball preview. Believe it or not, baseball starts on Sunday. I mean, how ridiculous is this? We're already in the baseball season already. Hard to believe we're in the baseball season. There is one game on Sunday. It's Texas at Houston, about 8 o'clock on ESPN. Most teams start on Monday, like Monday afternoon. To me, the baseball season starts Monday afternoon. I don't get into that Sunday night game, especially with the Astros being involved. But anyway, I want to do a little baseball preview for you. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go through the divisions real quick, and I'm going to tell you who's going to make the playoffs. I'll give you a quick World Series pick. Don't hold me to it. I mean, we're in March here. I'll give you a little rundown right now. Let's start in the American League. Let's start in the American League East. This is a very intriguing division. I'm going to go bottom to top. That's how I'm going to run down these divisions from worst to first. I think Boston is going to finish last this year. I mean, how the mighty have fallen. I don't like what I see at all from the Red Sox. I think this is going to be a long year for them in a tough division. I think Boston finishes last. I think Baltimore is going to finish 4th. I think they're going to be down from last year. I mean, there's no way their bullpen is going to be as good as last year, is it? I mean, I love Showalter as the manager. I mean, I love what they did last year. I mean, but there's no possible way they can repeat that again, can they? I mean, can they? The bullpen again being that good? So I think Boston's going to be 5th. I think Baltimore's going to be 4th. I'm going to put the Yankees third. Listen, the Yankees have a ton of injuries and a ton of age, but they're going to get most of these guys back. I still like their pitching staff. You can never write out the Yankees. They can always make a big trade. Can never count them out. But this injury and this age situation, I mean, how many guys are out of the Yankee lineup? It seems like everyone's out, age all over the place. I'm going to say the Yankees finish third. I'm not going to count them completely out, so I'm going to put them third. Number 2, I'm going to put Toronto in the number 2 position. They added so many players in the offseason. I mean, they signed Dickey, they get Reyes. I mean, all these moves Toronto made. Are they going to pay off? You have to like Toronto's team. You got Batista, Encarnacion, you got Reyes. I mean, you added Dickey. How good is Dickey going to be in the American League? That's a big question. I think Toronto is going to be good. They're spending a lot of money. I can't see them being bad. I like Toronto in the second position. And number 1 in the East, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Great pitching, great manager, and Longoria is healthy. I mean, that is a recipe to me to win the American League East. I love Tampa Bay's pitching. The manager is good. Longoria healthy. Now, they don't score a lot of runs, Tampa. They don't have too many stars other than Longoria, but their pitching is very, very good. So I'm going to go Tampa to win the East. So that would be your American League East. Over to your Central from the bottom to the top. I'm going to say Minnesota finishes last. What happened to the Twins? Remember when they used to be in the playoffs every year? What's going on with the Twins? And they still have some guys on this team. They have Morneau and Mauer and Willingham. They have some guys. They're pitching, though, not good. I think Minnesota's going to be a long year. And they have a really beautiful ballpark. They play outdoors now. Very nice ballpark. Great fans. But I think it's going to be a long year for the Twins. I think they finish last. Cleveland, I mean, I think they're going to be second to last. I don't think they're very good. They did sign a lot of people in the offseason. Give them credit for trying. They signed Reynolds and Bourne. And, I mean, they gave Matsuzaka a minor league contract. They even signed Nick Swisher. I still think it's going to be a long year for Cleveland. What city has suffered more than Cleveland in the sports world? I mean, how many times did their teams break their hearts? I mean, the Cavaliers, lose LeBron James. The Browns constantly break the Cleveland fans' hearts. I mean, the Indians, same thing. Cleveland fans deserve better. They're some of the best fans in the world. Hopefully one day they'll get a winner in one of these sports. They deserve it. So I'm going to go Minnesota 5, Cleveland 4. Third, I'm going to go the Chicago White Sox. I would say they're okay. They're not great. They're not horrible. I'd say they're a mediocre team right in the middle. Number 2, I'm going to go with Kansas City. I like that they got Shields. I like Butler as a hitter. I think they're going to be a better team, Kansas City. I think they're making some nice moves. I think they got some nice young players. I think they're going to finish second in this division. And number 1 in the Central, the class of the division, Detroit Tigers. Class of the division. Verlander, Fielder, Cabrera, Hunter now. The list goes on and on. Detroit is the class of the division. They are going to win this division by a mile. So I like Detroit to win the Central. Over to your American League West. Now, believe it or not, the Houston Astros are in the American League. So the American League teams are going to feast on the Astros, who are one of the worst teams in baseball. I will pick the Astros for last. They are the worst team in baseball until they tell me otherwise. Number 4 in that division, I'm going to say Seattle. They have a bad offense. We know they got some pitching with King Fields. They have a bad offense. They can't score. They're going to be number 4. Number 3, I'm going to take Oakland. I think they're an improving team. I like some of the things I see with Oakland. I think they're a deep team. I'm going to pick them 3rd. Number 2, I'm going to pick Texas. Even though they lost Hamilton, still a lot of talent on that team. Still can score runs. I like their pitching. I'm going to pick Texas 2nd. And number 1, the Angels. Have you checked out this lineup? Check out the Angels lineup. It's ridiculous. Pujols, it just goes on and on and on. The hitters they have in this Angel lineup have Weaver anchor in the rotation. Angels win this division. That lineup is to die for. So that's a quick overview on your American League. As far as your teams I like to make the playoffs in the American League, I'm going to go with Detroit, the Angels, and Tampa to win the division. 2 wild cards. I'm going to go with Texas and Toronto. Don't count out the Yankees. I know a lot of people are writing them off. You can never count them out, though. They always find a way to hang around. All right, so that's your American League. Let's go over to the National League. Let's start in the National League East from worst to first. Number 5 in the National League East, I'm going to go with Florida. They basically gutted the whole team. They traded everyone away. Now, Florida's done this before in the past, and they've managed to regroup. They've actually won a couple World Series and then gutted the team. So Florida's done this in the past, and they've been able to regroup, but you can't like what you see here with Florida. They have a new ballpark, and you just got rid of basically everyone. Their big player, Stanton, is not happy about it. You can't blame them. They just got rid of everyone, Florida. They're going to be in last. Number 4, the New York Mets. They've just lost Johan Santana for the year. Mets woes continue. It's going to be another year in mediocrity for the Mets. I guess the silver lining for the Mets is, I mean, they have some young pitching to build around. You got Neese, and you got Harvey and Wheeler when he comes up. That's what the Mets are going to build around their future. This year should be nothing more than mediocre at best. Number 3, the Phillies. Age. They kind of remind me of the Yankees. Guys hurt, guys, you know, getting old. I mean, older pitching staff. They remind me of the Yankees. I'm going to pick them just like the Yankees. 3rd place. Number 2, Atlanta. Atlanta could be the second best team in the National League, but the best team could be the division, which we're going to get to in a second. Atlanta, very, very solid team. They get Jay Upton. I like the moves Atlanta made. Good pitching, good hitting. Atlanta is going to make the playoffs this year. Could be the second best team in the National League. And number 1 in the East, the team I think is the best team in the National League, the Washington Nationals. Good pitching, good lineup. Good manager. They did a great job building this team. I love what I see from Washington. I never thought I'd see the day where Washington would be the best team in the National League. I never thought I'd say it. They look like they could be the best team in the National League this year, Washington. Tremendous job building this team. A lot of talent all over the place. All right, that is your National League East. As far as your Central goes, from bottom to top, Chicago Cubs are going to finish last. Theo Epstein, you got to give him some time to rebuild this team. Not much to like about the Cubs other than Wrigley Field. Number 4, Pittsburgh. I mean, I'd say they're getting a little better. They have McCutchen and they have Alvarez. They're not there yet, though. They're just not there. When A.J. Burnett is your number 1 starter, you're not there yet. Number 3, I'm going to pick St. Louis, a great baseball city, but too many injuries. Carpenter lost for the year. His career could be over. Vercal out for the year. Freeze starting the year on the DL. Injuries all over the place. St. Louis will finish 3rd. Number 2, Milwaukee. I think Braun is going to have a big year, and I think their bullpen is going to be improved. Plus, the division is not great at the bottom. I think Milwaukee can get up to the 2 slot. I expect Braun to have a monster year this year. And number 1, the class of the division, the Cincinnati Reds. Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, great lineup, good manager, good pitching. I like the Reds. Another great baseball city. The Reds take this division with ease. Over to your National League West, bottom to top. Number 5 and number 4 is a battle for last. San Diego and Colorado are going to battle for last. I'll put San Diego last. I don't love much about San Diego. I'll put Colorado second to last. Is Tulowitzki going to be healthy? I mean, those teams are going to be battling for last. I don't have high expectations for either one of them. Number 3, I'm going to go with Arizona. I'd say they're a decent team, not a great team, not a playoff team. I think they're going to finish 3rd. Number 2, I'm going to pick the Dodgers. Spent a ton of money in the offseason. They're getting to like Yankee status with spending the money. Should pay off. With a healthy Kemp, they have a nice pitching staff. They added Greinke. If Crawford can stay healthy, I think the Dodgers could finish 2nd and make the playoffs. And number 1, San Francisco Giants, until proven otherwise. I mean, they've won the World Series 2 of the last 3 years. Their pitching, still the best when it's on their game, with Kane and Lincecum, and the list goes on and on and on. You got Buster Posey, one of the best players in baseball. Until proven otherwise, San Francisco, the class of the National League West. So who do I like coming out of the National League in the playoffs? San Francisco, Cincinnati, Washington to win the divisions. I'm going to say Atlanta and L.A. to make the wild card games. So let's recap. Here's the teams I like to get into the playoffs. American League, Angels, Texas, Tampa, Toronto, Detroit. National League, Washington, Atlanta, San Francisco, LA, and Cincinnati. And my early pick for the World Series, the Angels with their powerful lineup against the Washington Nationals, who could be the most complete team in all of baseball. That right now is my early March World Series pick. Don't hold it against me come November. It is rather early. But that's a quick little overview of baseball for you. I wanted to give you a little something. Baseball is starting on Sunday. Okay, as far as what to watch, not only tonight, but over the weekend, of course, you have your Sweet 16 tonight. We got round 2 of the Sweet 16. Oregon against Louisville. I would expect Louisville to run over Oregon. I mean, especially in Indianapolis, that crowd is going to be all Louisville. I think Louisville plasters Oregon. Also tonight, you have Kansas against Michigan in Arlington, Texas. Very, very nice game. You have the young Michigan Wolverines against the experienced Jayhawks. I'll pick experience in this game. I'll take the Jayhawks. Very nice game, though. Also tonight, Florida Gulf Coast against Florida. I mean, who would have ever thought that Florida Gulf Coast was going to be here? Florida Gulf Coast just doing a tremendous job. I think they're up against it, though. Against the mighty Gators, I think Florida knocks out Florida Gulf Coast. I'll be rooting for Florida Gulf Coast. I don't think it's going to happen. They've had a great run. I think it ends tonight. And also tonight, a battle of the Titans. Michigan State against Duke in a must-watch game. Coach K against Tom Izzo, are you kidding me? I mean, what a tasty game this is. If you like college basketball, you have to watch this game. If you're not home, watching in a bar, DVR it, tape it, whatever. Have to watch Michigan State and Duke. This game could go either way. You got the firepower of Duke against Michigan State's hard-nosed defense. Very tough game to call. I could flip a coin on this game. I'm going to pick Duke. I think they got a little too much firepower. Wouldn't shock me at all if Michigan State beat them. So you got some stuff in your Sweet 16. And then remember, the winners of tonight's game play on Sunday. Winners of last night's game play tomorrow. You got basketball all over the place the rest of the weekend. As far as what else to watch over the weekend, as far as your NBA tonight, you got Atlanta at Boston, Houston at Memphis, Miami at New Orleans, Clippers at San Antonio. Very nice game. Brooklyn at Denver. On Saturday, Clippers at Houston. Sunday, Miami at San Antonio. Two tremendous games for San Antonio. They got the Clippers and Miami in a 3-day span. And also on Sunday, Boston at New York. Always a fun rivalry. As far as your NHL tonight, Anaheim at Chicago. Very, very nice game. Top two teams in the West. As far as Saturday, Islanders against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's winning streak on the line. Islanders fighting for that last playoff spot. Carolina at Winnipeg. Can Carolina snap out of their doldrums? New York at Montreal. Rangers hanging on to that 8th seed. Won't be easy to win up in Montreal. Toronto at Ottawa. Big rivalry. LA at Minnesota. Very nice game. Two teams peaking. And Sunday, a classic rivalry. Chicago at Detroit. So you got some stuff in the NBA. Like I said, on Sunday, you have your baseball kicking off at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. Texas at Houston. I mean, I can't get into Houston, but maybe they can do something on opening day. So that's kind of what you have over the weekend. I also went through some movies with you yesterday. You have some movies to check out on DVD if you haven't seen them. Life of Pi, Zero Dark 30, Argo. I mean, you have a bunch of good movies to check out on DVD if you can. Okay, you guys, we're all caught up. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. I will talk to you Monday, and we're going to recap everything that went on in the sports world, which I'm sure will be a wild weekend with these Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. And by Monday, we will know who's in the Final Four, and we will be in baseball season, believe it or not. You guys, have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you Monday. Take care.